All right, we're still getting a couple more people in here. For some reason, I don't know why it's doing. It won't let them do auto join. I gotta admit everybody in. Gotta love it. Okay, here we go. Man, I wish I had somebody like an assistant off to the side, just letting everybody in, because I'm just not gonna see it, and then I'm just gonna totally. It's totally just gonna miss. So people might miss the meeting, but no, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep a close eye on that. So if I stop talking for a second, that means I'm just admitting people in. All right. So hey guys, number one, it is now April. Guys, March went by pretty fast. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, didn't it feel like it was like seriously? It was just boom. It was there, here, there, gone, and we're on to the next month. Like it happened so fast. Cruz, thank you for that. Love you, bro. Thanks for listening to the podcast, man. That means everything. You know, it's actually funny. We've got Chris Taylor on here as well, who we just did an episode with. So if you guys haven't seen that, you absolutely need to. Chris is just a vat of knowledge about the automotive business and just, you know, being gritty and grinding. And so one thing that I wanted to have this meeting over, I want you to put this at the very top of your piece of paper, because I've recently had to go ahead and go do this for myself so I can make a couple of course adjustments with the way I do business, the way I've got my team, the way I'm doing everything in my life. Is I want you guys to write this down. It's the meeting in the mirror. All right. Having that meeting in the mirror. Okay. I'm gonna give everybody just a couple of seconds to write that down. But the reason why I'm saying the meeting in the mirror is because here recently in the past, you know, there's been days in my life where it feels like I'm just moving too fast. Life is moving so quick that I seriously can't take 2 seconds for myself to go, okay, what's best for me, my team, my business, the people that I'm coaching. Kyle, if I see you yawn again, you're gonna hit some push-ups. So Kyle Condon, hey, I'm watching. You might not think I'm watching y'all, but Dane figured out that I had yeah. There we go. But hey, I was moving so fast last month that like I had a point where, you know, yeah, how many do I need? I need 25 for that. I need 25 for that. All right. The first offense is always 25. After that, we're going up by 5. All right. And so the deal is last month I'm gonna say this. So like it was insanity. I was probably in the Lion's Den for 2 weeks. First, I started out, I was in Manhattan. You know, I was there for, you know, an entire week with Ryan. We're training a sales team. We're going crazy. We're pouring our hearts into this team over here, okay? They're a bunch of winners. They're a bunch of savages. They're really great at what they do. And so we were there. Like I always stress, be where your feet are and give everything you've got to where you're at, okay? And so I was there for a total of a whole week. It flew by. It was crazy, but I didn't get a chance to really go spend a whole lot of time with my team back home that me and Ryan also lead. It was, we could have a couple of texts there, maybe a phone call, a FaceTime, something like relative, but not to where I could continue to pour into my guys. But when I got back, I was like, hey guys, like what happened? You know, like do we slow down? Like what in the world? What I realized is that I was moving too fast for myself to think about other people. All right, was moving too fast for myself to think about other people that I have a certain level of responsibility for. And then right after that, boom, I go fly up to Buffalo, New York. I'm there with Chris Taylor, Travis Smith, that certified auto brokers, was there for, you know, 3-4 days, getting after it, going crazy, you know. And what I did this time is that I spent a little bit more time, you know, talking to my guys, talking to my team, giving them a little phone call. You know, if I was upstairs, you know, running the BDC, I'd go shoot one of my guys a phone call, like, hey, dude, how's everything going? We're rocking, we're rolling, we're getting after it. They'd be like, yeah, man, we're actually doing really good today. Great, love it. And what I realized is that when I took a step back, it didn't make me worse at what I did. It actually enhanced it. And so when I was there with Chris's team, not only did I get a chance to curb stomp his conference room table, which is the best thing I've ever done in my life. If you guys haven't seen that video, go onto the Instagram and go look at that, because Saturday morning meeting, that conference table, it doesn't exist anymore. We took it out of the game. But I had a meeting in the mirror whenever I got back from Manhattan, okay? When I got back from Manhattan. And what it was is, you know what? Like, I allowed the excuse that life is moving too fast for me sometimes, for me to just slow it down. And like, whenever I'd wake up, I'd have that little meeting. I'd be like, man, Jacob, you got to do this. Jacob, you got to do that. Jacob, man, hey, listen, you got to, you know, be a little more fired up with this. Hey, Jacob, you know, you've got to slow down, and you got to make sure that you take care of these other areas, and make sure that you take care of these business partners and take care of these people, no doubt. And so the deal is, is that I would have those meetings all of the time. But the second that I left like that little space, that me time, I would completely forget about it. Now, I just want to have everybody put a one in the chat if you've been there in your life where you're like, you know what, like you're sitting there, you're having that six, that meeting, that you're 6 inches away from yourself, telling yourself the truth, and it's the exact truth that you need to hear, and then we walk away from that and we do nothing with it. And we do nothing with it because we might get too busy. We might have too many cardios working. We might have too many customers. We might have too many phone calls to make. We might have, too many people that we have to lead on the team. And my question that I want you all to like truly like slow down and think about today, like let's make April a month of intentions. And like let's make sure that we walk into it with the correct intentions. We walk into it with making sure that we know what we're doing. Okay. Like I held the meeting this morning, and then I get told last second like, hey Jake, you got to do the Monday mastermind. I'm like, cool, dude. This is exactly the same meeting that I've had with my guys this morning. And I asked them, I was like, hey, like what's one thing that like you should be doing, working on, growing, scaling, putting a lot of like a good focal point on in your life that you're just not doing. And everybody started giving me some answers like, hey, I want to hit the gym more. I want to eat cleaner. I want to be able to make more phone calls. I want to be able to make sure that my data's clean. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. Everybody at the top of your paper, like write this down. Like what's like those like 1 to 3 things that you probably told yourself this morning that you're going to start working on, that you told yourself this weekend that you're going to start working on, that you're like, you know what, I'm going to spend more time on this area of my life. And then what I'm going to do from that point is I can grow every single day. I can grow every single week, every single month, every single year, because I'm taking care of these basics, which you would think are basics, but we get too busy sometimes for them. And so if everybody has those wrote down, like truly like write that down, and like don't just write down the first thing that feels good to write down, like write down the thing that like it's pretty hard to put on the paper, because once you see it and you know it, well the deal is let's go put some intentions to it. And so it's time that we start making those conversations become realities. We all have like the scope that we look through life, the lenses that we view life, or the perspective that we carry around with us all day. And one thing that I want to say with, the teams that, I've been with over the past couple of weeks, now I'm about to go out to Chicago, Clarksville. Like my April's a packed month as well. It's going to be insanity, as they say in Brooklyn. It's going to be mad bananas. I'm picking up all the new language that when I come see you guys, I pick up the language. I love it. And I take it home. And there's no doubt about that one, Chris. He's on the phone. But I want us to have some really like important intentions. Like when I was in Brooklyn, I told the guys like, hey man, listen, you guys are training like crazy, but like the belief isn't really like there. Like it's not like it's so evident that like you can like walk in and you can smell the belief in the place. Like they're still walking around like, yeah, we've got a trainer, we got things to say, but like we don't really like we're not like buying into it to the level of like, you know what, we're obsessed about it. And they had that meeting, and then guess what? Like you can instantly see the shift because they put some intentions to it. Like Chris's story, I'm gonna tell a little story real quick about with Certified. Is that I told Chris, I was like, dude, whatever it is you want me to do, I don't care. Just give me something to do, and I promise you I'll deliver. And I was like, okay, hey, first day we're on the phone, we're with the BDC. Everybody says this at their stores. Let it be the leads, let it be the people, let it be the phones, let it be whatever happens. Somebody is saying something about what they're doing, and they're putting a negative scope on it. And so I'm not gonna lie, Chris, I'm gonna tell it out just real quick and just be honest. Is that there were some people that were like, hey, dude, like, listen, we've already called all the leads. Like we've burned them. They don't want to hear from us. They're tired of hearing from certified auto brokers. And I'm like, great. Well, they didn't talk to me. Get me the list. And guess what? Me and Ryan, we grab the list and we start to show every single person there that the deal is right there. It's just that they might have talked to the wrong person, but the deal is sometimes, and you can write this down, we turn hot buyers into cold shoppers because of the way that we carry ourselves, the way that our perspective is, the way that we sound, the words that we use. We turn hot buyers to cold shoppers. Now, Chris, I'm going to have you on mute for just 2 seconds and tell everybody what happened whenever we spent time learning what to say. We built the right atmosphere for the phone calls. We made your clients feel a certain type of way. What happened when we're on the phone setting the appointments?
pure results, man. You stacked round numbers, 70 appointments in 48 hours. Set 48 appointments for one single day, which shattered an all-time store record, and just stacked pure results. It was absolutely incredible, absolutely awesome, super powerful to see, and it has had long-lasting effects since you've been gone. We've been continuing to kind of keep that same energy. It's been amazing. It's been awesome, and there's been real intention in what we're doing.
And that right there, like that's like, forget every aspect of like going out there being fired up. But when I leave, is it like the before I got there, or was it like afterwards? And like when he says, you know what, we're keeping the fire, we're keeping it going. There's that same intention, there's that same energy. Well, guess what? I know that I went there and I did like my duty, which is to just make people believe better by showing them by example, like, hey, listen, here's how you do it. Give me the phone, no problem. Boom, I pick up the phone, I close an appointment, and then guess what? Right after that, you know what happens? It's that they can see it, they believe it, it's a different voice, and then now they just got to reduplicate it. It's that easy sometimes, everybody. Like for you to get what you want out of life, find somebody who's done it and you respect. I'm not going to lie. When I first get there to any store, whether it be your store, let it be a store that's been watching us for a year or 6 months, you walk in and everybody has like this little bit of like, who really is this guy? Like, let's see what he's about. Like, let's put a little bit of a test on him. And, I'm going to say this, Dane, I got a chance to mess with Dane because he yawned. He didn't really know. Knocked out push-ups. Just like, am I really going to do that? I'm like, you're absolutely going to do it. And guess what? Whenever you're met with an objection, which is just an opposition of thought, okay, like everybody write that down. An objection is simply just an opposition of thought. The person who with the most conviction about what's being said is the one that wins. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I dropped down, Ryan dropped down, and Dane dropped down, and we all knocked out 25 push-ups together because there was just a conviction. There was no shattering my beliefs. It was, okay, you're coming to me because I'm sturdy. And there's going to be nothing that changed that. And then now, guess what? Dane, me and him have a great relationship. And, we have that level of respect with each other. Because when I'm convicted, we had fun ups, man. I'm not doing push-ups as the Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm not doing push-ups. I'm like, you're absolutely gonna do push-ups. And he was like, I'm not doing them. I'm like, yes, you are. Drop down. And then guess what? I was like, I'll even do them with you. I dropped down, knocked him out, and guess what? We're all good. We're rolling. We're boys now. Because he knows that I'm not gonna tell him to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So guess what? There's a level of conviction. But to go back to like what I was talking about with like that meeting in the mirror is, let me ask you a real question. I don't care if you're in the car business. I don't care if you're HVAC, solar, door to door. I don't care what business you're in. You could be in customer service. You could be doing anything in this world. You could be selling RVs. You could be doing, it doesn't matter. The meeting that you need to be having in the mirror is, am I actually working at the capacity that I need to be working at? Am I actually showing myself that I'm here to grow, that I'm here to work harder, that I'm here to have that grit, that grind, that belief, that conviction, go get what I want? Like, I wish everybody would truly understand this. If you work in sales, like this is specifically sales with commission, you get paid by doing a job that gets a yes out of somebody, and you get paid because you get a yes. You don't have to build a house. You don't have to build the car. You don't have to do anything besides sit at a desk or sit on a phone, go to a customer's house if you're in solar, and then get them to say yes and get a signature from them. It is the easiest thing in the world when I break it down like that. But the deal is you could truly change your life if you just got good at that. That's it. Like, do we all truly realize that, how easy it is for us to live a great life? Like how, like when I break it down to the simplicity of it, and like where it's just like it's one of those deals where it's just like it's insanity to think that we get the opportunity to do this. Like, it's never been easier because everybody else is bad. I'm playing against opponents that aren't even playing the game. Like, imagine an NFL star showing up to a Pop Warner football game. Well, the deal is, it's just not going to be fair. And that's the way that my mind thinks, is that when I wake up, I'm the NFL star because I've done the rigorous training that he's done. Then guess what? If you show up and you're not trained, it's like a Pop Warner football team going against, the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's the Super Bowl. There's just no competition. There's no level of like, we're going to go back and forth. It's a one-way game. And so when it comes to like us realizing that we can get whatever life we want, there only is one thing that stops you. It's this up here, and then it's these. Okay, it's that little smile. Are you smiling while doing it? Does your mindset say, you know what, dude, like this is gonna be the greatest day of my life? Like I'm gonna crush it, I'm gonna break records. Like everybody I talk to, it's an absolute yes. And then guess what? You do it with that mindset, you back it with the skill set, and then you build the habit of winning. Go back to Chris Taylor's store. There was a lady, okay, which is absolutely hilarious. If Leah's on this call, she's gonna love this. But I'm not gonna lie. Me and Ryan were upstairs. We're in the BDC. It was Thursday, right? Was it? No, I think it was Friday. It was Friday, I believe. I can't remember exactly which day it was. But Leah was up there. She's listening to me and Ryan make phone calls. Number one, we're just sounding like normal human beings, okay? Like it's just completely like normal conversations for us because that's just what we do for like a daily basis. Leah, we tell her to pick up a phone call. Somebody dials into the dealership and she gets maybe 15 seconds in the phone call and she'll argue to the day she's done that she set the phone down to go put it on speaker. She set the phone down. Like she set the phone down and it goes and locks up a little bit, which is okay, guys. Like, hey, listen, it's totally okay. Flight, fright, or freeze. And guess what? Since we're both like me and Ron are just like staring at her, like, what are you doing? She set the phone down and it kind of like locked her up. She had a little bit of adversity, had a little bit of an overcoming of like an objection that you've never heard before. There's that uncertainty, which I'm never going to be like, oh my God, Leah, what the heck? All I did is I grabbed the phone, talked to the lady, made her feel amazing. She says, hey, I'm going to come in on Saturday. Well, I made her feel so good that she came in that same day. And then guess what? Chris, have they bought 2 cars so far or just the one?
That's 2 cars, many more to come. Those people are absolute, they're just disciples of certified now. They're going to go spread the word every day. And their experience here was second to none.
They're ambassadors now for the company.
That's right.
They're ambassadors that paid for them to be ambassadors, which is the craziest thing ever. Is that you give them a car, you get paid, and then they go out there. Yeah, exactly. And she posted a massive TikTok shouting out the store, like we're having fun, like we're like dancing and stuff. Like they're sitting there, they're like, this just like the daughter kept on saying, like, I'm in an alternate universe because they've been to 20 stores before that. We were like the last on their list. Wow, the mom with a phone call, just crazy energy. And they're like, you know what? Let's pack up, let's go. So they show up, they get this same energy. Okay. Sometimes they say in life, hey, you know what? Don't meet your idols because you'll be like disappointed and let down. This is a time in my life where I could truly say, like, I wowed her over the phone and I wowed them even more when they got to the store. Ryan went and brought them Wendy's Frosties. That Wendy's across the street literally took Ryan for a Gino. Like he was buying everybody Frosties. Like literally he spent so much money on Frosties and chicken sandwiches for the customers because he'd be like, hey, listen, if you come in, you ask for Ryan, I'm gonna get you a Wendy's Frosty. You like a vanilla or you like a chocolate Frosty? Which one? And guess what?
Dude, come on.
Every time. If you get the vanilla one, you're a little weird. It's okay. We talked about that on the podcast. But ultimately, they'd walk in and they'd say, hey, where's the big guy? And Ryan would come from the corner, what up? Massive energy, like, are you here for the Frosty? Like, yeah, I am. Ryan would run over there. They'd sit back down with the client. And then guess what? Party would start working. Ryan comes back with the Frosty about 10 minutes later. And guess what? Raising their state once again, raising their state once again, raising their state once again. Just having fun. And almost every single person that did that, guess what? They're in such a good mood from being there in the atmosphere that when we go show them the numbers, when we go show them like the deal, they're already in a great state and they're ready to do business anyways. And then guess what? Saying yes is even easier. And so what we did is me and Ryan were like, hey, listen, like we don't know what we're walking into because Chris could have us do one of numerous things that is possible with us there. I was like, here's what he's going to do. He's just going to tell us where to go. Like, it's going to be like the military. Point me in a direction and I will attack until there's nothing left to attack. And he goes, Jacob, I need you to set some appointments for Saturday. Well, we broke the record for Saturday, shattered the company record. And now it was just me and Ryan doing it the entire time. The team, guess what? They came in as well. Because when you lead a great team, they'll follow. Okay. Now, One thing I want to say with yourselves is whether you're on a team, whether you're by yourself, is at the end of the day, there's only one form of true leadership, which is self leadership. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And so, one thing I want you guys to write down is, hey, listen, the only true form of leadership is self leadership because there's no such thing as junior leaders. There's just leaders, whether you're a leader or you're not. And every single person on this call, you are, because you have to lead yourself in order to get more people to prove that you can take care of more than one person. And for everybody that's out here, what in the world's going on? See, this that stuff. There it is. And the one thing I want everybody to like think about is, am I truly giving it every single thing that I've got? Like, am I waking up with that fire, that passion, that desire to win? And then am I going attacking it myself? Like, I know this is the Monday mastermind, but it's the first day of the month that you guys are here at the store, whether, well, actually might have been there, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, but it's Monday. It's the first Monday of the month. And the thing I want to say is it's time that we stop letting others influence our lives in ways that we're not ready to go. Like, and now when I say it like that, I don't mean it like if your leader says, hey man, I'm gonna push you to go sell 5 more cars. Like, I don't want to go there. A leader's always going to want more for you than you're getting yourself currently. But the deal is, stop being around people that pull down your state, that pull down your possibilities, that lower your expectations of life, that lower your standards, because that right there that's liquid death. Like, if anybody's near me and they lower my standards, I cut them off. It's not a hard decision. Okay. Because I'm going to say this, you people who are on this call, my savages, my killers, my just elite level salespeople, I'm going to say this. You guys all have the talent. You have the talent. Okay. It's just sometimes the engine isn't running right. The engine isn't running right because we're not taking care of all of our past promises to ourselves. Maybe we're not showing up on time. Maybe we're just getting a little bit lax. Okay. Imagine having a diesel truck and you pour just normal gasoline in it. Well, the engine locks up. Or if we just don't put gas in it at all, guess what? It just stops running. Every single person in here, you have the talent possible to get whatever life in the world that you want. You truly, number one, you have to believe that. If you do, yeah, exactly. It becomes easier to filter out negative influences when you're surrounding yourself with so much positive influence. Because on the spectrum, it'll be like a crazy opinion that you've never heard before. I'm gonna turn this off because the camera's going all wonky. Gotta love it. Gotta double tap it. Come on. There we go. Oh, see, oh yeah, there we go. But the deal is, it's so much easier to take away negative opinions and negativity out of your life, because at the end of the day, like, you're surrounded by so much positive, you can do so much right that the wrong is very visible. It's not like, everybody's like, oh, dude, I got to solve all of these problems. Here's what I say. The biggest hole in the boat is what truly sank the ship. Okay. If there's a huge hole that's like 6 feet by 6 feet on the stern of a ship on the side, Kevin, you all right, bud? Kevin's dropping his camera and stuff. But the deal is, if there's a big old like 6 foot by 6 foot hole on the side of a ship, and then there's one that's like this big, guys, I'm not worried about the problem that's this big. I'm worried about the one that's literally 6 feet across. Okay, that's what's truly sinking the ship. Okay. So let's go find the biggest holes first, start patching them up, and let's go look for little leaks in our game, leaks in our mindset, leaks in our money. And I know 110% the biggest hole that anybody here has, I guarantee it, it's just a certain belief and mindset that they keep with their life. I'm almost positive of it. Almost positive of it. Because when you have massive belief, when you have that 100% like conviction about what you do, it gets easier and easier to show up every single time. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's really easy to show up and just be there. And not like, just instead of being present, like being an impact player. Because I've done it. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say that I've never done it, because I've done it a lot in my life. And that's why I can speak from this kind of factor in my life, because I did it for all the time that I was a kid, all the time that I was in middle school and high school, is that I was just there. Like, I just showed up. When I first got in the car business, that's what I did. I just showed up. Like, at first I was fired up. Then once the motivation left, which it's never a bad thing to be motivated. It's just a bad thing to rely on motivation to get a task done. And so the deal is I was motivated because it was something new. And then once the newness wore off, guess what? It was just normality. And when we get to normal, we just get lax standards. And so my belief was going down. And so, like right now, like everybody write this word down: decide. Decide. All right. DECIDE. And the meaning of decide in Latin, well, so I think it's I forget. I always forget. I always mess it up. There's so many like breakdowns of words. It just means to kill off. Okay, like you cut it off, you kill it off. Like a decision means that you cut off the other chances or opportunities or possibilities. Okay, when you make a decision, you go from 2 to 1, or 3 to 1, or 1,000 to 1. Okay, and you cut off everything else. Like right now, I want you guys to decide, like, what is it that you're truly going to do? Like, let's go back to the meeting in the mirror. Like, let's make the decision. Like, do you like who you are? If yes, let's do more of that. If no, let's change some of that. Let's just do that. Let's keep it to the simplicities. All right. Let's start off on the easy one. Do we love 1,000% who we are? And if we stayed that way for the rest of our lives, we would be truly happy. The answer is no. Let's go change the other one. Okay. That's the start right there. That's the start. The second thing is, now, when we want to talk about changing our life, there's the health, the wealth, there's business, there's all of that. Guys, you guys can get into every single aspect of that yourselves. Because I know one thing, it's not hard for you to sit there and go, you know what, man, like I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be fired up today. And then let's go actually go do that. But the meeting in the mirror is what is the most important. Because you've already had that conversation with yourself. You've already had that conversation with yourself. Okay. And right now, like you guys, I want you to focus on becoming the solution and not the problem to your own life. Which I know sounds crazy because you guys are the solution. Everybody, like for the longest of times in my life, I thought that, the solution to my problems was everywhere else but me. Like I would look for everything. Sorry, I need some water. But the deal is right now, money exchanges hands when problems are solved. Okay, you're the solution. Can we all agree on that? Put a 1 in the chat if we all believe that, like, we're the solution to not just our problems, but our clients' problems. To not just my problems, my clients' problems, but also my family's problems. Like, it's me. There we go. I like seeing it. I like seeing it. There we go. There we go. There we go. I see nothing but ones. I like it. Okay. So here's the deal. We're our solutions to our own problems. We're solutions to the problems of everybody that's around us. That's why we're in sales. That's why we're in sales. Because guess what? We solve other people's problems for a living and we get compensated for doing as such because we're outside the box thinkers, not inside the box players. Okay. So you guys need to realize we need to scale past just what's going on right now. And what I want to do is I want to take just, a little 3 to 4 minutes and see if anybody's got any questions so far about what we've covered. Anybody? Oh, come on, buddy. I can hear you clearer than anything. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to have to go through a little bit of that conflicting message because I'm going to be honest. My mom, she wasn't one of those people that was super supportive of me getting in the car business because I had a full ride to university, go practice corporate litigation. I let all of that go to go sell cars. Okay. And then once I got an opportunity with Andy to move across literally to the other side of the country, my mom was not happy about it. But what I realized when I told her this is that, hey, mom, like I love you to death. But at the end of the day, there's only 2 things in this world that I could take to the grave, which is untapped potential and regret. Anything else that's worldly, I can't take. And so I'm not going to go to the grave with the 2 biggest ones and have both of them be there to weigh me down as well. So either you're on my mission or you're not, but I love you to death. And so now, like my mom, she understands that I'm serious about what I said because I continued to put in the work. I continued to show up and I kept on proving myself right that I was there to do it for a bigger purpose and not just to go run around and go not fulfill my own promises to myself. So sometimes your belief has to be so extreme that other people start to get moved. When you look at magnets, the bigger magnet is the one that pulls. Okay. When you look at your belief, the bigger the belief is the one that pulls, or conviction, or whichever word that you want to use for it. It's the one that will pull the one to the other. Okay. So the deal is you need to go have that fire. You need to go have that energy.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you guys better. Macklin kids, man. The Macklin kids. Oh, always just like that door was locked 2 seconds ago.
Oh, sorry.
Well, come on. What do you got to say?
Sorry,
What do you got to say?
All I want
What
to
do you
say
got to
is,
say?
hey, everybody, put your freaking smiles on, man.
Who's
How ready to attack today, dude?
Singles is simple.
Hey.
All you got to do is work
Ooh,
hard.
I got a
and be-
gem.
Huh?
I got a gem for these guys right
Give
here.
it to 'em, Ian.
Hey guys, check this out. You know, somebody told me the other day, I'm like, Ian, or what are you doing today? They're like, oh, I'm just getting to work. I'm like, bro, it's freaking 9 o'clock and you're just getting to work. He's like, it's not how you start, it's how you fit. That's the number one thing that will piss me off the most. Listen, it's how you start, it's how you finish, it's how you do the beginning, it's how you do the end, it's how you do everything. So many people, Chris, like in your store, anybody, they start selling on the last 2 days of the month. Oh my God, I got to get to those 5-car bonuses. Dude, if you had that energy, enthusiasm, and endurance right now with every freaking customer, you would never wait to the end of the month. Most of you should have your month made by the 18th and 19th of the month, and the rest is a freaking bonus. So today, have the energy like it's the last day of the month. Tomorrow, have the energy like it's the last day of the month. The next day, have the energy like it's the last day of the month. Customers can feel it, you know it, and then you'll get there. That's it. So, you know, I'll keep going. I'll keep going.
Simple.
Come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. Big knee.
Gotta kick them out. But yeah, Jesse, that's the deal, man. Is you just gotta have massive conviction and go prove yourself right to them. Okay. Never negotiate with something that's really great and really powerful for yourself. And the deal is your family will understand the mission that you're on and they'll walk with you. But first, you don't get the non-believer to believe just because you told them to. You get the believer to believe because there's so much undeniable stacks of truth that there's no other way to believe. So, good question. On to the next. Which anybody got anything else?
Jacob, I'll throw one at you, brother. We started off by talking about being intentional in everything that you do, and I believe that completely. But even myself, and I think you touched on it yourself, and I'm sure a lot of people, I think everybody here struggles staying intentional. What do you do to check yourself? I guess that meeting in the mirror is probably one of those things, but how do you keep attending that meeting every day? What do you do when you feel like maybe you're slipping a little bit?
So you know what I do is I look down the road of a future problem. So if like right now, like if I wake up this morning and I'm in the mirror and I'm like, you know what, dude, like Jacob, you're slipping. And then guess what? I go through the entire day and I keep on slipping. What I do is the next time I have that moment of me like having a real talk, I go, you know what? Let's stop looking at where I'm at now. Let's go 5 years down the road. If I continue down this path, what does my life look like? Or in 6 months or in 3 weeks?
Sure, yeah.
And so I take that current present problem to a future-based cause of like, okay, if I continue to do this, what happens? And I bring the future to me. I bring the future to me right now. Like if let's say I'm eating unhealthy and I'm not going to the gym and I'm not taking care of my body, I'm not taking care of my mindset, and I'm not taking care of my clients. Well, in 6 months, where am I at? I'm probably not in the Elliott group. I'm not going to be in the great shape. I'm not going to have my confidence. I'm going to have health problems coming in, and I'm just going to start slipping and backsliding, and my new standard is going to be no standard. And what does life look like when you don't give yourself the confines of your standards and your disciplines that you've set for yourself? Well, you're just able to run in any direction and you have no path. And that's where we find lost and broken people are people without paths. And so when I check myself like slipping, I go, Jacob, do you really want to stay on this path? And if the answer is no, change it right now. Because we all know when we're on fire, we all know when we're on the right path, we all know that when we're doing the things that are right, but the thing is that we also know when we're doing what's wrong. And so I just take the future and I bring it to me. That's all I do. Like take the future away from everything because I don't want to let myself go through that. Because a lot of people go, well, if it's in 5 years, this might happen. And then we start to negotiate with our band standards. And the deal is like that's a terrible way to live life, is that we negotiate with bad standards. And so I just go, okay, me right now, I continue to do what I'm doing, 5 years, 6 months, whatever the time frame is that I need. I just bring it to me right now and I go, okay, what does my life look like? And if I hate that exact feeling, I say, okay, don't let time pass where that becomes a reality. Let's just let the time be stopped and go to that next level. And
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Thank you.
And that's one thing that Andy taught me, is that, if you can't imagine it, you can't obtain it. And so if you can imagine yourself with a terrible life, well, then you can obtain a terrible life. And it's not like you're like, it's just going to be like one of those deals where, God comes down and says, silver platter, here's a bad life. No, it's you don't just pick it up one day and you've got it. It's a cause and effect of every decision that you make. And so I stack the chips in my favor of good decisions, so that when the time does come and I go cash out, it's a good life. And so that's it. Can't imagine it, you can't obtain it. There's one question in the chat. What was that? Can you speak on converting social media leads into sales? Robert, where you at, buddy? Unmute. Where you at, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
There you are. What's up, bud?
How's it going, man? Hey, yeah, so I've gotten a good amount of leads on social media, but I've had issues with people, I guess, converting those into like bringing them onto the lot. The best way to bring them onto the lot, it usually turns into a bunch of questions or a bunch of concerns and stuff like that. Like I could find the perfect vehicle for someone, but I've been struggling a little bit with getting them in on the lot from social media.
Number one, change your mindset about it. I'm gonna start it at the root. If you want to chop down the tree, let's go start from the base. Okay, so the deal is this. Yeah, 100% branding and marketing platform, but also like to go to that next step of it is, what you need to be doing is you need to be having that energy, making it where like when people would ask me questions when I was at Chris Taylor's store, like I guarantee you, if I can go back to the phone calls of like some of the calls that I made, like there's people who asked me some pretty tough questions and I just rolled through them with no concern. Whatever we focus on is what we magnify. Okay. And so if you focus on the problem of the conversation, that problem magnifies in the customer's mind and makes me want to do business with them less. Okay. So the deal is number one, I'm doing everything that nobody else is doing. Like with the social media lead, I would be sending them videos all the time. If I got their number, I would just FaceTime them. I would do something so out of the normal that it's like weird. And like when you talk to people, Robert, like you got to act. And I just walked up to her, acted and talked to her like I've known her for 15 years. And like I didn't use any Andy Elliott word track. I just showed that like she had some belief problems with herself, not the sales lady, but not Sarah, but like the actual client. And I went up to her and I said, hey, you know what? Everything in your life, let's put all of it aside. You know that you're here for a reason. You've got this. Come here, give me a hug. And then me and Ryan gave her a big hug and she goes, you know what? I'm going to do it. Walked away super happy. And guess what? She's now another ambassador. Like sometimes people just need a little bit of certainty in what they're doing. I literally it wasn't like some crazy work track. It wasn't like I went out there and I'm Andy going crazy. I literally just did something that nobody else is doing. I just went, hey, you know what? Come here. I believe in you. Gave her a hug. And guess what? She's excited to do business because somebody believes in her. And so, Robert, go speak with people with belief on social media. Go speak to them on video. Go FaceTime them. Go do things that nobody else is doing, and go speak life into other people's lives. Because you still sell cars. You still sell cars, okay? But you deal with people. So you got to be really good at dealing with people. Focus on the people, and the cars will sell themselves. That's it. And so through social media, through internet, through whatever type of lead, the deal is go treat them like somebody that's a reality, like a real person. Go have fun. Go speak some life into them. And then guess what? There's never a bad time for a 30-second pep talk with anybody. And that's it. If you can do that, I promise you, when you take that with the skill and the training and the closing and the negotiation and the branding and the marketing, and you stack it all up with the skill, you skill stack it, well, guess what? You will live a way different life. And so there's not like one trick to be, out there that's crazy. How about you just do this? Stop treating your people like customers and start treating them like you've known them for 15 years and go have an amazing attitude while doing it. And then guess what? Go wow people with that because nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it. And if you're doing it, guess what? It's just for your game.
Yeah, that's great advice because I feel like I was a lot more shorthanded with my Facebook ups than I was with ups off the lot or phones or anything like that. So that kind of struck the nail right on the head there. I appreciate that.
100%. 100%. And like, don't treat any lead different. Don't treat any customer different. Like there was times where when I was on the phone, like, Chris Taylor's Eric, his BDC manager, was like, hey, take the phone number and then, look it up into the CRM and then do this, that, and you figure out what car. And I was like, stop, bro. I was like, I do not want to look into a CRM. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to look into a CRM when I'm dialing people. Like, I just want to be on the phone with humans because like we get so caught up in the information that we carry bias into a phone call. And then guess what? Or we carry bias into a deal. I would rather be able to be a salesperson, which is I get on the phone with you. I make such a good impression that I ask you the questions of like, what do you need help with? And then you just tell me. And then instead of me saying, oh, well, I've seen that you're interested in this. No, I don't care. I don't care. It's my job as a salesperson to get on the phone and have a conversation with somebody and then figure out the problems, give them a solution, and then build the bridge in between where it's a really fun and energetic time that they want to walk the bridge. They want to be there on the gap. And I'm just the bridge. Okay. And so like, if I can pick up the phone and do that with anybody, like, guess what? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't need a CRM. Now, if you're at your store, guess what? That is the greatest thing ever because you can go back and go look at what you've talked about in the past. Don't shortchange data. Okay. Don't do that. But don't get so caught up into it because like on Friday, one of my guys, he goes, hey, Jacob, I've got this guy. Dude, like I don't know where to take him on. Like I don't know where to how I can help him. And I'm like, hey, dude, no problem. Like, get him on the phone. And he was like, oh, okay. And I knew that he was looking at his phone for like 15 minutes, just trying to figure out what to have the conversation about. We called the guy twice, doesn't answer. And I'm like, guess what? We spent 15 minutes having an imaginary phone conversation on a person that didn't even answer the phone. Just get him on the phone. We'll figure everything else out. Okay, there's no reason we should spend more than 30 seconds thinking about oh, who am I calling? Oh, okay, cool. Boom. They get on the phone, boom. That's all I need. That's all I need is them to say hello. And then guess what? I'm taking care of everything else. Because if you wait and make a perfect phone call, then what happens when they don't answer? Yeah, it's a silly feeling. It's a silly feeling.
I feel like that advice stacks on top of what you just told me because if I'm getting them on the phone outside of Facebook Messenger where they're more comfortable and feel a bit more distant, I feel like getting them on the phone is a good way to break down those walls and kind of open that line of communication a little bit more.
Yeah. There's nothing better than the phone call. Nothing better than a phone call because you can hear me. You can't see me, but you can get most of the things out of the way. You can tell if I pick up the phone and I'm having a good day. Okay. You can tell. And so I'm just gonna have anybody put some hands up. When it comes to getting on the phone, sometimes do we spend a little bit more time than we should having the imaginary perfect conversation, and then you dial them and then they don't answer. Put your hand up if you've been there, because I've definitely been there. And if you don't put your hand up, you're totally a liar. You're definitely a liar. Don't lie to me right now. But I've done it so many times. I've been there with Andy, and there was a funny little 30-second story. We'll just kind of wrap it back. But there was an owner of 15 dealerships. And I was like, Andy, hey, listen, this guy, I've talked to him, great relationship with him. He wants to talk to you as well. Figure out something a type of deal that we can work out with getting the platform. And he was like, oh, get him on the phone. And so then I kept on going, kept on talking. He's like, dude, just get him on the phone. And I'm like, all right, call the guy. Guy doesn't answer. And Andy was like, okay. He goes, let's look at this. He goes, we spent 5 minutes talking about somebody that we can't even talk to. That makes no sense. If he gets on the phone, let's talk to him. Let's make it easy. Let's get everything out of the way. But that's it. He goes, stop spending so much bandwidth on what's not reality, and let's spend more bandwidth on what's actually happening. And so walk around and do that with your business. Stop spending so much time on things that aren't happening right now. And so that's one of the deals. And then the last thing I want everybody to write this down is cash confidence. Cash confidence. Hey, Waleed, You better not be yawning, dog. Yeah. I caught you. It's all right. It's all right. Come on, you can go knock some out. Guys, listen, you guys gotta stop yawning, man. Are you guys tired? Oh my goodness. But hey, write this down. Cash confidence. All right. And I see people like they walk around with like this word on them, this cash confidence. I'm gonna explain exactly what it is. Coach Burt, a great mentor of mine as well, and Andy and everybody, cash confidence, it's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's about, do you have the ability to solve somebody else's problems? Okay. And so people walk around with this cash confidence that, like, let's say your bank account isn't so astronomical. Let's say you've got $500 in the bank, or $5,000 in the bank. Okay. Listen, to the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. But we walk around like that's the level of problems that we can solve. And guess what? At the end of the day, that's a tough life to live and go breed confidence into people when we focus on our bank account trying to solve somebody else's problems. Okay. And so if anybody's in here like not where they want to be at monetarily, stop carrying that weight into the deal. Like, the money that's in your account, it doesn't directly reflect like, okay, am I even able to help this person out? Like, it's not like they're going to pull your ATM receipt and say, oh yeah, you've got less money than I do. How are you going to sell me a car? How are you going to sell me solar? How are you going to do this? Like, that's not a reality. Like, so get that out of your head and realize that, number one, like, the confidence that you should have is in your ability to solve other people's problems and make it really easy for them to not have those problems anymore. For most of you guys, it's transportational problems. You're able to solve that problem, make it easy, and make it fun, and you get compensated for doing as such. Some of you guys sell solar. Some of you guys sell HVAC. Some of you guys sell door to door. It doesn't matter. But there's a problem with the solution. Stop focusing on what's inside your wallets, all right? Because I'll see it sometimes. If you guys are having a hot month, you got money in the bank, you're talking all different. You talk with some swagger, some confidence, okay? Like the cologne you'd be putting on is like confidence or something, all right? And then next thing you know, when that bank gets a little dry, your bottle, goes dry as well. And then you stink like freaking insecurity. You stink like you don't have the answers. You stink like you walk around with like your head down. And nobody wants to be around that. Like, so the deal is let's stop focusing on what we've got and let's start focusing on what we're capable of. As I said, you guys all have the talent. Let's stop putting the wrong fuel in the engine, okay? Let's go start putting the right fuel in the engine. If you've had that conversation, that meeting in the mirror, yeah, broke is a mentality, okay? But also broke is a reality if you continue to do things that broken people do. Like, at the end of the day, it's 100%. It starts in the mental and then it works its way into your life. Okay. Like, I walk around with a heart full of winning, because guess what? Like, what your, like, I feel like the contents of your heart is the contents that you'll be able to go perceive and give to others. Ahmad, what's up, buddy? Unmute. Where you at?
What's up, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said you had a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how do you keep the right mentality when the company you work for, they keep saying they want to promote within, but then they bring people from outside?
Ooh, well, hey, guess what, dude? At the end of the day, here's what I focus on. I focus on me. Okay. Now, if you want to get promoted inside the company, that's great. Like, I love that you want to go to that next level. Here's the deal. Stop focusing on what's next. Start focusing on what's now. Okay. When you cross the bridge of getting promoted, then that's the bridge that you're walking. And then you need to become really good at what you're doing there. But the deal is if I'm focused on what I'm doing right now and I'm doing it at the best of my ability, whether I don't get promoted, whether I do get promoted, or then the deal is that it's just my reality just switches over a little bit. It's not like I get false expectations, I get disappointment, I get disagreements, I get anything besides what I've already been getting. Now, I always keep a future expectation of going to that next level, to that next position, to that next whatever, and I prepare myself to be there. But I don't set up like any emotional attachment so I can't feel disappointment when it doesn't happen. Okay. Like, be where your feet are. If you're a sales guy wanting to be a manager, well, the deal is become the best sales guy in the world. So then you have a story to talk about when you're a manager. If you're a manager wanting to become a GSM, become the best manager in the entire world. So then when you become a GSM, you've got the story. The deal is don't shortchange the story for the position. Okay. Because once you get the position, you have the story to backtrack and tell yourself, like, hey, listen, I've done all the things right to be here. And then now people can see that, feel that, and understand that you've done what's right to be where you're at. So stop focusing on so much the end zone. Start focusing on the sprint. Okay? Like, life is a sprint inside of a marathon, and the finish line always gets moved. And I say that it's a sprint because we've got to be going as fast as humanly possible every single second of the day. We've got to be running like it's our last day on earth, and we've got to accomplish 1,000,001 things in 24 hours. That's the way that you should be running. Okay, so that's the sprint. It's a marathon because if you can only do it for a week, well, then there's no change. But if you can do that for a lifetime, then you're going to beat out everybody. So it's an endurance game. It's a sprinting game. And then the finish line always moves because when you arrive, you've arrived at a finish point, at a stop, and you don't continue going. I always move the finish line because I don't want to arrive one day. I don't want to get close to my goal. If I get too close to the goal, I'll move the goal. And I feel good about moving the goal because I continue to go to that next floor. And I go to that next level. And I continue to just run. Because it's the journey for me. Don't look at the destination. And then anybody else? Kevin White, you said you had a question, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy?
Jacob, before you started with Andy, did you always have this like crazy mood, energy, and like ability to talk fast and away with words? Because I'm trying to get better with words, talking faster, and just having, that energy and that aura that you guys have and the twins have. I was just curious how you guys practice to get to where you are now.
Well, one thing, I've always been a sober devil. I'm kidding. When I first got into business, I was an introvert. I was really scared of speaking. And so, like, for me, it was being around Andy. It was getting into the training and to start filling my mouth with words that are different than the way that I normally speak. And so first it was Andy's language. And then like once I memorized that and I internalized it, it started to become who I am. And so I've done it so much now that like I've probably got more reps than you. And that's why it sounds better. So you might be looking at my chapter 14 and you're on chapter 2. And so stop the comparison in between. But the deal is you know where you're wanting to head because you've seen it and you're like, you know what? Like, hey, I want to sound like this. I want to have the confidence. I want to have the conviction and I want to continue to push and grow. But also don't shortchange yourself because, however long you've been training, let's say it's been 6 months to a year or 3 years. I've been next to Andy, like truly like from the time I started training to now, it's been a total of 5 years. And it's almost, like 2 years, 2.5 years of being with Andy. And so like, that's one of those situations to where my proximity and my consistency and my intentions on it, that's what's helped me become who I am. Now you can 100% do the exact same thing and Andy's only getting better. So you can do it in a fraction of the time. And so you just got to believe that you can get there and then know what you want. But first it comes from up here with belief. I've got a sick sense of belief. And so if you like me and you like we're sitting there and like we're going back and forth on a certain topic, I'm normally going to win that topic if I'm confident about it because my conviction overrules. And that's it. And so for you, man, just continue to grow, continue to know what you want and don't ever slow down. Don't ever get to the point in your life where, you're sitting there and you're like, you know what, man, like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, oh God, I'm starting to have doubts. I don't know if this is the training that I want to do. I don't know if, it's this, that, the other, the third. Maybe my managers aren't supportive of me. My mom isn't supportive of me. Somebody out there is telling me, hey, man, you're getting a little bit too crazy. That isn't you. At the end of the day, you got to shut that out and go focus on where you want to go. And so for you, if it's communication, it's having that fired up energy, sounding good, at least, thinking that you sound good. So I think sometimes I sound okay, but I'm like, I go back, I listen to a call and I'm like, God, dude, what in the world? That was insanity. That was not good at all. Okay. And so I go back, I watch the game film to know where I can get better. So same thing with you, man, watch the game film, get better, focus on that. And so I hope that helps you out. I know that there's a couple more questions that were in here. John Shell, unmute, and I'll get to you in just a second. I'm going to read this. Jacob, you're a natural actor. Move to Hollywood. You could be the next man. Mark, I appreciate that. I don't know if I could be the next Matt Damon or Marky Mark, but, I heard the Backstreet Boys are on their way back. I'm going to be the NSYNC 2. And then Karima, what is a good training schedule for memorizing word track will help you when you learn how to learning how to tattoo to your heart? Here's the deal. So the best training schedule that you could absolutely have is one that is backed with consistency. Like let it be 10 minutes, let it be 15 minutes, let it be 30 minutes, but make a time frame that you can commit to Monday through Sunday and get just 1% better every single day. Like if you truly want to tattoo something to your heart, you have to literally tattoo it to your heart. You have to do it so many times that like it's undeniable that you've been practiced. It's undeniable that you've been sitting there trying to do better, trying to figure out the words, trying to make sure that you don't think about anything else besides what you're focused on. Now, one thing I always say is if you're learning a word track, either start learning it in the morning, start learning it at night. But I like to when I'm like on my way to work, like I'd be starting to go back and re-listen to what I've already trained on, so I can continue to have that front and center to my mind. If I'm learning something, I want the phone off. I want nobody walking up to me. I want no distractions, and I just want to focus on what I'm actually focusing. And that's how you're gonna get what you want. Is set a time, and then make sure that it's a consistent time, and then never be able to break off that time frame. You can do that, everything starts to change. And that's what I did. Is that I did so many reps and sets, and I just stayed there doing that like there was nothing that could really help me unlearn it. Like it's kind of like a part of me now. And so, good question. I like that.
Hey,
John,
Jacob.
where you at, buddy?
Right here, brother.
There you are.
Hey, so here's the one I got for you. So you talked about the BDC. It sounds like you're really good at making a connection on the phone. So, on a phone pop here, you try to answer it high energy, sound different than the competition. But we have a lot of lease customers who are just shopping for the best payment over the phone. You'll ask them questions, they give you short answers back. Do you have any advice there? Like good questions to ask, anything like that?
Well, I mean, you kind of gave me, like, that's kind of like a loaded question, dog.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's not even that it's tough. It's just like I can say anything at this point, and I can just make it to where it won't even help you. You know what I mean? But like, give me like an actual, like a thing with the call that you're not certain about, and then let me solve that instead of just trying to shotgun a solution.
Yeah. So what do you think how would you overcome that? Like when you have someone who's shopping lease payments around, how would you handle that objections?
I'd be like, hey, listen, John, number one, hey, let me ask you a real quick question, John. Obviously, I know budget is a main concern when it comes to buying a car or leasing a car or whatever it is. But ultimately, let me ask you a real quick question. Number one, you want to get the best deal. You want to make sure that you're not here for too long. You don't want to negotiate and haggle. You don't want to do all that negative stuff that we get at the dealership. Am I right? All right.
Yes.
Listen, John, listen, I'm the same person. I'm the same way as you. I don't want to do business with people that don't make me feel like doing business with them. Okay. That's the biggest problem about this business, is that it's so transactional and nobody really cares about getting you exactly what you want. Now, at the end of the day, you can keep on calling all these dealerships. You can keep on doing everything, but I'm going to tell you this. Okay. We work for Toyota. Toyota says, hey, this is the deal. This is the price. This is what you get because we go through their bank. Okay. At the end of the day, the most important thing is picking who do you want to do business with, because they're the ones that you're going to be roped in with for the next 3 years. Right or right? Right.
Right.
Listen, John, here's what I want to be able to do, man. I want to be able to have you come down to the dealership, come say hi to me, come say hi to my team. And at the end of the day, we'll make a decision if you want to do business with us. In the end, the ball's in your court. But when you get here, I want to have you have some coffee, have a little donut, sit down, get a chance to have a good time, have some smiles, have just whatever it is, and just make it a purchase that you've never had before. Okay. Make it into something that you could always remember, because I know that you lease because guess what? You want to be able to get something new every couple of years. I love leases because that means I have to see you every couple of years. So let's start the relationship off right. And let's start thinking about not just our first purchase, but our purchases that we'll make for the rest of our lives. Can we do that together?
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's what I
Strong,
need.
brother.
I need you to come down here, spend 15 minutes with me. And if you can spend the 15 minutes and you get a good feeling, let's go to step 2, which is actually talking about a lease. But step 1 is just finding a great person to do business with. Okay. I've never missed anybody on a bad deal. Okay. And that's the reason why that we're on the phone right now, is because you don't see any bad reviews, because we do business the right way. We're number 1 in the state of whatever, not because of what we can do, but we do what everybody else in the state can't do. And we do it very well. And so let's get a chance to sit down, shake some hands, and that's it. Can we go from there?
Yes.
What time can you make it in? I'll have some coffee. I'll have some water ready for you and everything. We're going to take care of it all. Don't worry about it. Can't wait to see. By the way, what color is the car that you're going to be riding?
Nice, brother. Blue.
Great. And here's what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to send you so you know exactly who to look for when you get here. It'll be like a nice little game of hide and seek. I'm playing. I'll be ready for you with that coffee when you get here at 2:30. All right.
So thanks, brother.
Sometimes it's not a work track. Sometimes it's just truly having fun. Okay, there's not a ton of work tracks in my industry. I just believe in myself. Yeah, sometimes listen, if you try too hard to become a work track or try too hard to become what you're not, then it comes off as unauthentic, and nobody likes to deal with people who are being real. Okay, that's why we say memorize, internalize, customize. That's the 3 ways that you got to go through the training. Number 1, to memorize, know the words, internalize to understand why you're saying it, and then customize it so it's you and authentic. It's the only way it's going to work. Okay. So, hey, guys, listen, number 1, I just want to say this is absolutely amazing. I love you guys to death. That was a little over an hour. But one thing I do want to say is, hey, if anybody's got any questions, okay, you could always text me. You could always DM me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. I want to make sure that we're all going to that next level together, that we're all pushing really hard. And at the end of the day, I'm here for you guys to be a resource to get better and to grow more. And to what number do we text you on? I'll give you my personal. And if you're on Instagram, there you go. There you go. And that's the Instagram. And also, number 1, if you guys want to be able to plug in more, I know that everybody probably knows this, but we have a podcast, me and Ryan, Big Ryan Rasmussen, the 6'7" behemoth, the Goliath, the whatever we call him. But ultimately, tune into there. We've got a ton of episodes. We've got guys like Chris Taylor, guys like Marat, who's running Brian Benstock's operations. And so the deal is love you guys to death. Continue to keep crushing it. If you need anything, text me, DM me. Let's go. Boom. Let's start this month off strong, baby.